Torts, before the games in Chicago, you and I talked about your lack of offense and how you struggle to get goals. And lo and behold, you go in and score 3 goals in 2 games. But today, you're going to put a prolific scorer into your lineup. And I know he hasn't played in a while, and I know he hasn't even practiced with you. But how much are you hoping that Patrick Laine can just send a jolt of offense into your team on the very first day?
Yeah, it's something we need. Obviously, we've needed it for a little bit here, and um, yeah, I think he brings some personality to our club. We got to watch him because he hasn't played, he hasn't skated in a couple of weeks, but we just can't rely on getting 3 or 4 practices. 3 or 4 practices could be 3 weeks from now. So he's going to play the game, and he's excited. Introduced him to the boys today. They all know him, so we're looking forward to get him going. I think the other one part of the deal there, Jack's played very well since he's been with us.
When you talk about practice, how does it differ in hockey from other sports? And you've talked before about the teams basically play the same system now. It's just some kind of a variation of a system. Does that make it easier to fit in when you go from one team to the next?
Yeah, I think the mental part of it is easier. You don't have to think too much. It may be a small adjustment on how you coverages defensively, but it's not that there isn't a whole bunch of changing. My thing with him is just his conditioning. He was stuck out there. He was riding the bike and hadn't been on the ice for a little bit. He's had a couple of good days of practice here. Kenny put him through his paces yesterday. We just got to monitor, and we both talked already this morning. We'll monitor him during the game. If he needs, to miss a shift just to get caught up, we will. But I think he's such a competitive guy. He's just going to go out and play.
People are naturally going to make the comparison to your last big star offensive player in Artemi Panarin. In the conversations you've had with Patrick, is he similar in the same way that Panarin was when he talks to you about wanting to be prepared? I know he's asked you for a lot of video. He's done a lot of studying before he ever shows up here. Are they similar in that way?
Yeah. You know what, and I give Brett. Everybody gets upset with Brett because he's left, but I give Brett a lot of credit. Even when he did say he was leaving, he played. He's a pro, and Brett, they're hockey players. I think that's the best way I can say it to you. Is they like playing the game. Brett loved playing the game. You can tell this guy is really enthusiastic about the change. He wanted tape. He wanted to know where he was going to be on the line. He wanted to know our power play setup. He wanted a lot of answers from me right away. And that's really good because he just wants to play. He wants to try to help and wants to get back on the ice.
Another thing that it's really made me laugh over the past week or so because, the outside pundits that I know you don't care about, and I know why you don't, and you're right. But I laugh because it comes up, can Patrick Laine play for John Tortorella with his demanding style? They said the same thing when Panarin came in here, and you and he got along famously, and it was really because of what you just said, right? He was a hockey player. As long as you play hard, you're going to play, and there's no problem.
Yeah, it's not that difficult to understand me. I'll give you in Tex. Tex is making a ton of mistakes on the ice. He makes big mistakes, but I don't care because he plays so hard. I think he's second in scoring 4 goals. I think he's behind Borky as far as points. I think Tex is going to be a hell of a player because it's our responsibility to chip out those mistakes. But if we have to try to get a player to ramp up and play hard and understand what the standard is as far as how we practice, how we play, that's when there's a problem. That's the only time I'll have a problem. And I don't think I'm going to have a problem with this guy, Laine, because judging from what Yarmo says to me about him and me watching him, he competes and he wants to play the game. So, yeah, there's stuff out there, so be it. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm just going to coach the players that come my way.
Hey, you may have answered my next question when you talked about Alexander Texier because, you kind of alluded to over the last few days that Max Domi was going to be the guy to play with Patrick Laine, but I do know that you had him out on the ice today with Texier and Atkinson. Has Alexander Texier almost begged you to put him into that spot without saying a word, just by the way that he's played?
Yeah, and he doesn't say a word. I don't think he's uttered a word to me in 2 years. So, but he's the one that has the puck more right now. He's the one that's chasing pucks down. He can make a play. I'm going to try that. Everybody thought Max was going to be the guy, but in fact, I'm putting Max on the wing because I want to take some pressure off of him to allow him to get going offensively because I think he's so he's trying so hard to understand the defensive part of the game and improve at that part. And we've spent some time in our end zone early in the year. We haven't come out clean as much as we like to. By the time he gets going in the offensive zone, he's changing up. So I'm trying to make it easier for Max on wing to get going offensively. Texas, I just want to see if he fits there. And remember, Bobby, we got three different centers now, three new centers this year in our lineup from last year. And we got to feel this out and see what happens and see what the best match is for him.
Well, speaking of that, if you're going to put Max on the wing, then what do you do in the middle?
Yeah, with Nasher is out tonight. They just had a baby, and it was a full day, full night situation, so he won't be here. So I'm going to put Nick in the middle. I like Jens playing with Jack. I think in the couple of games they've played together, they've developed some scoring. So Nick is going to go to the middle.
That's always a nice thing to have, right? As a backup plan, because you do have Boone Jenner and Nick Foligno that can step in and do that. I know you don't want to do that throughout the entire season, which you've been forced to do before, but isn't it nice to have that fallback where you can spell Max a little bit because of that?
Yeah, and like I told Max yesterday when I talked to him, and he's all for it because he it's hard. It's a new player coming to a different team in a crazy year, no camp, all the stuff, and it's hard. I'm hoping to get him back to center, but I want to get him to not have to focus so much on so many different things as a center iceman has to do to allow him to get going offensively because we need his offense. And so I'm very fortunate. I could throw Jens in there, Nick. There's a number of different things. Even Grigorenko's played some center ice in Russia. So Nick gets the call tonight because I like Jens and Jack, and we'll see where it go with it.
I was looking at your point totals the other day, individual totals, and of course Boone's got 3 goals, and Nick's got 3 goals, but Cam Atkinson's a guy that stands out. He only has 1 goal, and he is a huge part of the offense of your team, obviously. I know last year you can write it off a little bit because he had some injuries, but he really hasn't been the same player since Panarin left. How much are you hoping that bringing in an offensive guy like a Patrick Laine that's going to draw more attention might be able to free up a guy like Cam Atkinson to do the things he does best?
Yeah, I'm playing Cam there tonight, and I'm hoping that works. I'm hoping they complement one another because Cam can make a play, and Cam can get on pucks. Cam is beginning to show signs of some of his quickness that he has. He's had some chances. He only has 1 goal. He's had some chances. He had a great chance, a couple of great chances the other night. I think it's a matter of time before he starts scoring. But that's kind of my thinking. I hope, Tex can chase pucks down, and maybe Laine and him can have some sort of chemistry together as far as moving the puck to one another and see if they can help one another out.
And of course, the power play, you need Laine there too. Will you change the setup? And I was thinking about Cam. In the last game, you had him posted up in front of the goalie. Do you like him there, or do you like him in the shooting position?
Well, we're not going to have him in front of the goalie. We're trying to teach Cam to play in the middle of that, the 1-3-1. He's still not exactly sure how he supports the play. He's always been over in Laine's spot. Laine's going to be there. But we want with that, if we can get Cam in the middle into the slot area, not down by the net, maybe something opens up for him in the slot because maybe they'll worry about Laine in a certain type of situation and shade him, and maybe Cam opens up. And it's all worked off of one another there. So Cam's never played that. I guess I call it the middle of the box. People call it the bumper guy, all this different language. And Cam hasn't really done it that much there this year during the time. We're going to try and see if we can adjust to some of the support that he has to have with the puck and see where it goes.
And not bad to have a set of fast hands there for rebounds off the goalie, right?
Yeah, and he's good in the blue. He's quick in the blue. He can find pucks. And I do think some players will open up in the slot because, okay, if we worry about Laine, someone's going to have to shift over there. Maybe it releases Cam. And it's in order to try to get Cam going here too and start scoring some goals. So we'll see where it goes.
Elvis made a couple of mistakes the other night, and obviously it brought me back to that game in Winnipeg last year when he made a very big mistake, and you were very upset about that, and rightfully so. I thought this was a little bit different. I kind of felt bad for him on the first one. I thought he got a little bit of bad luck. The second one, I think he created a little bit of bad luck, maybe, but he still is learning, right? We've talked about how that is you can be much more dangerous if you have a goalie that moves the puck. You and I talk about Carey
Oh,
Price
yeah.
all the time, how he
Yeah.
gets it to the defense and all of a sudden it's out of the zone. So I know you don't want to stop him from playing the puck, but did you have any conversations with him this time, or was it even necessary?
No, and he played a really good game. Other than those, it wasn't one, it was two mistakes behind the net. But he played a really good game. I have not had a conversation with him. We've gone through the process when we went through Winnipeg. I've watched the maturity of him so quickly. One thing about Elvis is he's accountable, and I felt, I was pissed at first, because we're still in that, we're right there. We had a couple of scoring chances. Elvis makes a couple of mistakes, but he plays really well up to that point. We need, part of it's on us. We need to score some goals for the guy. We have chances to go up on that game and we don't. And that's what makes those mistakes look even more glaring. But I'm not worried about him because I know how he feels. He wears it on his sleeve. He owned up to it right away at the end of the game. I even heard he apologized to his teammates. He's a good teammate. He's matured. I don't. His next start, he's going to be just fine. And I want him to move the puck. It's a big part of his game.
And he's past the point, or maybe never was at the point where you just roll him back out there, right? I mean, he's got to get over those things. You've got faith in him.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I do. I have. It's one thing I'm very comfortable with. There are two goalies, and they're both going to play.
All right, Torts. Well, yeah, you're right. When your team doesn't score, if they only score one, you're almost forcing your goalie to get a shutout every night. And you're right. It's not fair, and it's really impossible in the NHL. So hopefully Patrick Laine in there will be that shot in the arm you're looking for tonight. Thanks and good luck.
All right, man. Be well.